Hey, we're going to talk about Nolan Wells, and this is mostly an in-group conversation for black people, so if you're white, you can stay, but watch it. There's a conversation that never really seems to be had in good faith about black folks who grew up in white spaces, especially black children who grew up in white spaces. Nolan Wells was 18 years old. Nolan Wells did not choose to be where he was and with the people that he was with, and probably had to do a lot to go along to get along because of the situation. And that's something that some of y'all who don't grow up in that position don't understand and kind of clown on. I've seen some discourse about this that frankly makes my stomach turn, where it's just like, see, you got no survival skills. Yeah, you're talking about a child who probably got betrayed and killed by their friends. That's a fucked up experience. And obviously for me, this one really hits because, I had the experience of growing up around a lot of white people and being, in kind of a hybrid world where during the day I was around mostly white people and during the evenings I was with my church or whatever where it was mostly black people. And I don't have the experience that Nolan Wells did, though, of living in a place where it was like all white people and you're literally the only black person. And I really need y'all to understand that that's a fucking hard experience in this country. And I really want to give a shout out to those of us who are black and grow up in a mostly white world, not surrounded by black people, because we actually understand this country more deeply than a lot of folks who just grow up in one culture or the other. I've had conversations with other black folks where I tell them that, only 12% to 14% of this country is black people, and they will literally get mad at me like I'm lying to them or I'm making it up, and I'm like, no, it's just that we're clustered up, so wherever we appear, there's usually a lot of us, but that's not the experience for a lot of people in this country. And unfortunately, a lot of us will make the wrong choice and become the fucking Clarence Thomases, and so, fuck those people dead ass when they're adults, of course. But a lot of us have to actually build our blackness up from scratch, not having gotten it in the way that a lot of folks do, and that is laudable. That's not something that should be looked away from or not understood as actually foundational. And guess what? It has always been the black outsider who has been a big part of moving the culture for black people and for the rest of the country along. Anyway, before I go too far afield, what you need to actually do if you really care about other kids like Nolan Wells not facing this kind of thing is to embrace the fact that we are all indeed black people. Whatever we talk like, whoever we grew up around, whatever it is that we like, whatever. We're all Americans here also. And that's the thing that some of y'all don't get is that we're all horrible in some way. Because this country does a fucking number on all of us. Some of us just have to face down the oppressor more intimately. And that's terrifying. And that's an everyday thing. And unfortunately, especially as kids, some people got to do some shit to survive that makes us look horrible, frankly. And just making people a punchline, especially after a situation like this, that shows that you really aren't riding for black people like you say you do. If you're basically victim blaming someone who had no choice to be in this situation. I don't have any answers, but I know those people did it, and I know that we need more compassion in group from black people to black people, and more embracing of each other when we're talking about the situations of how we got brought up, because none of us choose that. If you are for black folks, you are for black folks. Whether we are trans, whether we like different things, whether we grew up around black people or did not, whatever that is, if you are for black folks, you gotta understand that we exist too. We just do. All of us exist.